Hello and welcome to Morning Trade with Moneycontrol. I'm Karunya Rao and I'm here to help you navigate the trading day with actionable strategies, sectoral trends, and most importantly, your queries during the course of the show. So please keep commenting on our live feed. We'll have your queries and questions addressed by a technical expert. But before bringing our guests on board, let's see what the global handover looks like. European stocks closed slightly higher as uncertainty returned following gains in the previous session. Stock 600 closed marginally above the flat line. Bank of England hiked interest rates meanwhile by 50 basis points, its largest single increase in 27 years, as it tries to rein in a runaway inflation that hit a new 40-year high of 9.4% in June. The move was largely anticipated by market participants. US futures trade higher meanwhile after Wall Street ends mixed. Street awaits the jobs report for July due later today for further cues on Fed Reserve's rate hike regime. Asian markets are higher this morning. The SGX Nifty signals a green start for the Indian market. All eyes on RBI today. The central bank will announce its decision at 10 a.m. The stage is all set for the third interest rate hike of FY23. Analysts expect anywhere between 30 to 50 basis hike. Stocks in spotlight today: BEML, Adani Enterprises, Manappuram Finance and Glenmark. Meanwhile, oil prices fall, pressured by concerns that economic weakness in the US and Europe would cut demand. But prices seesawed as the market also considered tight supply. We'll get you the latest on that later on in the show. All right, let's get talking technicals of the market with Shivangi Sharda of Motilal Oswal. Morning, Shivangi. SGX Nifty hinting at a good start for the Indian markets. In fact, it is firmly above, that 17,460 mark. How far away are we from 17,500? And on the way to that, any critical levels to watch?
Good morning, Karuna. We've seen, a wonderful rally in the last week, and some sort of profit booking decline was seen in the first half yesterday. But again, index picked up in the next half, and we saw it cheered near 17,500 zones. So the concern is that volatility was quite high yesterday, and it spiked to 21 levels yesterday, which brought in some discomfort to the bulls. So as long as volatility does not cool down, we would not see such a smooth run to above 17,500. But again, it has been making higher lows from quite a lot of sessions. And my take over here on index would be that look out for the policy announcements, and we could then decide what the trade setup would be, because the mixed setup is signaling right now, because to enter right now would not favor the risk reward ratio. So we should wait for the policy. Yes.
So ahead of that, how are you reading into the chart of Bank Nifty as well? Because aside from how the overall benchmarks have been doing, Bank Nifty has been a bit jittery last couple of sessions, ending slightly in the red. So tell us what's likely to happen today to the index and to many of these banking names.
So looking at Bank Nifty, if we look at the weekly chart structure, it is quite positive because it has been making higher lows from the last 7 weeks. Of course, it has been underperforming from the last few sessions, but we have to even factor in the fact that the entire July series, we saw this index outperforming the market. So somewhere or the other, strength is still intact in this, banking index. And but yes, if we compare, Nifty to Bank Nifty, I'm having more conviction and buy side for Nifty as compared to Bank Nifty. What levels we can look out for is 37,250, and on the upside 38,500. And for Nifty, we can look out for 17,150 and upside 17,777.
Okay, all right. I want to also flag off some stocks that are likely to be in the news today. Number one will be BEML. It came out with its Q1 numbers last evening. Consolidated loss has come in at 82 crores. Revenue, on the other hand, saw a decent uptick of 43% year on year. It says that the total order book lies at 9,100 crores as of June 22 end. But if we look at the technicals, good momentum seen last 1 week, largely in tandem with the market uptick. But where do you think it's going to go from here on? 1434 levels.
So, looking at the chart structure of BEML, there was quite a lot of participation here, a price volume breakout over here. But again, it could not sustain above 1460 levels, which was a kind of a concern level because the first resistance over here is 1500 levels. So I believe, once the stock crosses 1460, it can touch 1500, 1520 levels, but it has to, cross those levels because we can see some sort of consolidation over here going forward because of lack of follow-up buying.
Okay. Next stock on our radar is Adani Enterprises. Again, some news flow coming in there. They're looking to acquire Macquarie Asia Infra Funds India toll roads in AP as well as Gujarat. 3,100 crore is going to be the investment to buy these assets. But if we look at the chart of Adani last 3 months, it has been very sluggish all the way till June end, and then it saw a massive outbreak. So, given the run-up that it's seen last 1.5 months, do you expect a cool-off, or do you expect this to continue, the run-up?
So Adani Enterprise continuously moved up, making higher highs, higher lows from the last 7 weeks, on a row. So, I believe this stock, the rally which it has seen, and it has, it is trading at its near lifetime high levels. And the first resistance which it crossed was 2415 levels. And after that, it has been, a one-way rally. So I believe the stock is strong. The chart and the technical setup, everything is showing very strong. But the concern is that now it is, formed a doji sort of a candle at, its high. So some sort of profit booking and consolidation might be seen over here, and we could wait for some decline for again buy on decline.
Okay. Another earnings candidate from the broader markets that could be in the limelight today is Glenmark Life Sciences. Q1 profit was up close to 8%. There was good margin performance as well. Revenue, however, was down 7% to 490 crores, largely because of the high base of last year because of COVID-related products. Overall, the pharma and healthcare space has been sluggish, but this one hasn't been as weak, but largely range-bound, I would say, last 2 months odd. Talk to us about the momentum that you foresee, or is it going to be listless going forward as well next few weeks?
Yes, so pharma wasn't a favorite for the last few months, but recently it has got quite a lot of action. And looking at Glenmark, it has taken good support near its 50 DEMA on daily frame. And weekly structure, although it shows some sort of a consolidation and consolidation after downtrend, so it has to really struggle up 400 levels for a upway rally to start in this stock. But of course, daily chart looks promising. So this stock will definitely be a buy if it sees some sort of a follow-up buying over here. And if we talk about, pharma space, I would recommend Cipla over here instead of Glenmark, because this stock is one stock which is quite promising, and it gave a price volume breakout yesterday. Quite a lot of action has been, in this stock from the last 1 week. So yes, in the pharma space, Cipla would be better than Glenmark.
Okay, all right. Thanks for giving us, an update on Cipla as well, so that the viewers can choose and take a call. The last stock on our list, as far as stocks in news is concerned, Manappuram Finance, weakening profit for the quarter gone by, 35% drop, coming in at 282 crores. There was some impairment on financial instruments which remain elevated. Revenue from operations has also fallen 4%, 1,500 odd crores is where it was reported for the quarter gone by. But if we look at the technicals, it has inched back to those May levels of 105 rupees odd, early 100 rupees. But it did see some weak phases in the last 2 months. It was trading for a prolonged period of time at those 85, 87 levels. While it has clawed back to above 100, do you think it can sustain that level?
If we look at the weekly chart structure, it just looks like this chart is, struggling. The price is struggling. So even if we saw a rally, in the last 2 to 3 days, but it could not sustain it. It is, again started to make, lower highs, lower lows. So I believe, this stock is some stock which is kind of struggling at the moment, and we could wait for a buy call over here. So I think it's a wait and watch over here.
Okay. Shivangi, request you to stay on with us. I want to talk about what's happening in the commodities market. And overnight, there has been a big development as far as oil prices are concerned. Manisha joins us with the latest. Manisha, oil continues to decline. In fact, crude is below $90 a barrel. What's happening?
Well, yes, Karuna, it seems to be becoming a daily thing now, and we are looking at lower lows on charts right now. We've seen $90 break for the U.S. crude prices, and the Brent is now below $95 a barrel as well. So it's a 6-month low that we are looking at in terms of crude prices. When you look at this week, Karuna, the U.S. crude is down by 12%, and Brent is down by 17% in this week itself. So this clearly is the worst weekly performance that we have seen for crude prices in this year at least. So we are looking at demand concerns, recession fears, weak economic data, the US and China tensions, and then the Bank of England hiking rates by 50 basis points also did do a bit of a damage.
Okay. And is it likely to remain in this zone, this sub $90 a barrel zone?
You really have to watch out on whether or not the demand picks up, because as of now, we are looking at the inventory data showing a build-up. So the crude oil inventories, we know, gained up by 4.5 million barrels in this week. Heating oil inventories are higher. So it's not just about crude, which is trading, by the way, at 6-month lows, but you have heating oil at a 4-month lows, gasoline prices at a 20-week lows. So everywhere that you look, there is pressure on crude prices. Will it continue to decline like that? Markets do not believe so. But yes, there is profit-taking happening on those longs for sure. But concerns about whether it's about US and China, the Russia or gas flows, if we see a hurricane coming in, if there is a stimulus that comes in from China, those are some of the factors that markets will watch out for. On the lower side, while 85 now becomes the immediate support for the U.S. crude, markets do believe that we are not breaking below $92 for the Brent prices in the near term at least.
Okay, let's see how that plays out. Any other development that has transpired overnight as far as the energy markets are concerned? Because last time we touched base with you, gas prices were on a tear.
Well, the gas prices actually surprisingly have been on the stable side. We've seen gas prices gain up just by 0.5% overnight. It really is about the crude prices, which is moving the markets right now. Apart from that, rest of the energy markets, while have seen a decline, but not by the kind of quantum that crude oil prices.
Okay. Thanks much then for joining us with the latest. Oil continues to trade weak, but lots of factors and monitorables which Manisha flagged off. They need to be kept on the watch list to understand how things are likely to play out. All right, let's shift gears and back to the markets once again. Shivangi is standing by. Shivangi, lots of questions also all ready for you to answer. First query I'd like to address is from Aarti, and she wants to know your view on Tata Consumer for the short term. How's the chart looking?
So Tata Consumer, it gave a breakdown, it gave a gap down opening, and then, there was huge volumes in the short side because people were covering their longs. So I believe this stock will be in weakness for the time being, and one could, wait for it to, either cross 800 levels or, if we want to buy, and if we want to go short, then we should wait. We can do a short call at 780. Zones for a more downside.
Okay. The next query is on Mahindra and Mahindra, and today the earnings will also trickle in. Shubham Srivastav has a question. He says that M&M support level to buy for long term is something he would like you to answer. And he's asking, can M&M touch 800 levels, or should one buy at these 1,000 odd levels that it's currently perched at?
So looking at M&M, is it right? Yeah. So, this chart structure is something which was quite promising. If you look at, the daily frame, it has been in an uptrend since, March this year. So this stock is something which is quite promising, and one could go for, a long-term buy as well. The good part is that weekly, frame, it has given a breakout. So we would see like quite a lot of quick action over here, expecting in the, next week. I believe immediately the stock can touch, 1300 levels, and for the support would be around 1185. And if we talk about the long-term support, I would shift it to around 1100 levels.
Okay, all right. Next query is on UPL. Our caller, our viewer's name is not flashing here. His handle is Red Brands. He's asking, despite better quarterly report by UPL, it continues to consolidate. Do you see any signs of a reversal or a revival on the stock price?
So looking at UPL, weekly, somewhat the chart structure is becoming, red. And the way, of course, today closing would determine the weekly chart, but the way it is, forming a bearish candle on weekly frame, it does not really look that good on the chart structure. So, looking forward, I believe there will be some sort of a, slight weakness to consolidation over here and a little bit of a range bound move. So we could expect the stock to move in a range of 710 to 750 zones.
All right. Want to also bring up Zydus Life Sciences. I mean, we have a query from Narendra Pandey. He wanted your view on Glenmark Life and Zydus. Glenmark was already discussed, and you have given your preference, which is Cipla over Glenmark. But let's talk about Zydus Life, because that also is something that the viewer would like to know about. It has seen very wild moves last 3 months, extremely volatile, extremely divergent. Yesterday, it shut with a gain of more than 5%. So what do you think is likely to happen on the technicals?
So, looking at this stock, this is quite a high beta stock, which means that, it is quite volatile. And, even before entering into this stock, one should understand that the stop loss should be maintained because of this volatility of the nature of the stock. And I believe, immediately there could be 375 levels in this stock because of the huge OI addition that has happened yesterday. And we would maintain a stop loss around, 355 levels.
Okay. The next question is from Rajesh Rajagopal. He wants to know if he can buy GNA axles at the current price point. Now, this one did see a good run up, in fact, 500 is where it's perched at, but it did see those highs of 610, 615 odd last couple of weeks. So tell us, what is it that is telling you going by the technicals, and what should one do? 565 is where it shut shop yesterday. Good price to enter, or should one wait?
So looking at this chart structure, I believe, the weekly structure is consolidating, and it is, hovering near its support zones, which was around 460 levels. So, somewhere there was a little bit of an uptick till 630 zones, but it could not sustain above, and I believe, unless the chart, moves above 600 levels, this would not see strength, and we could wait for, more consolidation.
Okay. Next query I want to bring up is from Deepak, and he wants your view on Delta Corp. While it has recovered from its June lows, it is yet to claw back to, those 250, 260 levels that we saw back in April and May. There is still some way to go. It's still sub 200 levels. Tell us what lies ahead.
So Delta Corp, it took support near 165 zones, and it is trying to move upwards if you look at the broader time frame. And this chart structure is something which is looking promising, but it would not give immediate gains. People want to wait for some range bound move for an uptick. So this is definitely a buy because the chart structure is good, and we could definitely enter into this stock with a strict stop loss of around 180 zones.
Okay. Next query, Sudeep Chakraborty wants to know about Deepak Nitrite. What's the view here? The stock, I think, largely been range bound last 2 months, but can it break out of that zone?
So Deepak Nitrite is one stock which is looking quite promising, and the way the OI addition and volume increase has happened over the last 2 sessions is indicating quite promising promising bullish candle even today. So I believe this stock could move up to its first resistance level, which is 2050. And definitely one can go for a buy over here. We would maintain a stop loss of around 2000 levels.
Okay. Next query is from Krishna, wants your view on BSC stock, and good momentum seen there actually, 14-15% uptick last 1 month. It did surpass the 700 mark as well, but it has seen a tad cool off from those, from those levels. So talk to us about BSC, and if now is a good time to buy, or do you expect further selling perhaps?
So looking at BSC, I believe, if we look at the weekly chart structure, of course, it started moving upwards after taking support near 550 zones. But again, the momentum is kind of missing. And I feel, the stock is moving in a quite slow pace. And it would not, give such a promising result over here. So we could avoid this stock for the time being.
Okay, well, it's an avoid on BSC then, for now at least. The last query I want to address, Shrikant writes to us, and he wants your view on Gujarat Alkalis and wants to ask if he should hold on to it or exit at the current levels. Right now, I think the stock is at 807. Again, last 3 months, range bound, it is clawing back to those highs, but there's still some time to go.
So I believe, this Gujarat alkali is just ready to touch its first resistance zone, which is around 833. And we could do some sort of, profit booking over there at those levels. And once it crosses this levels, it is again a fresh, new buy. And then the risk reward will be much favorable. But of course, at these levels, we could do some sort of profit booking.
Okay, all right. Shivangi, what about your own stock picks for, today and the days to come as well? What are some counters we can keep on our radar?
So, from my stock picks, my first pick would be from the IT space. So this is Infosys, which is making higher highs from the last 3 weeks, and it is trading above its resistance zones, and it is moving in a very upward trending channel right now, and it's ready to surpass and move towards 1660 zones. And my stop loss here would be 1570 levels. My second pick would be Havells, which is given a breakout, from its inverted head and shoulder pattern on daily frame, and it retested its levels, which confirms for a more upside. It formed a very bullish candle yesterday, which indicates strong buying interest, and RSI is also indicating a buy zone. So I believe this stock could touch 1360 and higher levels, and my stop loss here would be 1285.
Okay. Just before we let you go, I want to ask you a quick question on SBI. Tomorrow the earnings will be trickling in. So tell us how the technicals are placed. In fact, one of our viewers is persistently asking us on ICICI Bank if you could give us a comparison of both these charts quickly.
So looking at, the banking structure, as we discussed earlier this morning, there has been some sort of underperformance, and there is, sectoral shift which is happening because banking stocks outperformed the market the entire July series. So there will be some sort of a pause over here just to, go ahead with this discussion. But yes, looking at SBI and ICICI Bank, I would believe there will be some sort of a consolidation over here and restricted upside, I would say, and one can look to shift into IT and Pharma pack, which is much more in action.
Okay, well, that's a very interesting view coming in. Maybe banks, if you want to look at, you can put that off to some other day and look at Pharma and IT instead. Shivangi, thank you so much for joining us. Always great chatting with you and getting your perspective on a host of stocks and the market setup. With that, we're going to wrap it up on Morning Trade. Thank you for tuning in, but stay with Money Control. Markets with Santo and CJ comes up next.